In the early light of dawn, a brave man would see a giant whale covered in barnacles. His decision to clean it would be the decision to save the whale's life. The beast, a giant humpback whale, glided gracefully through the water. Its massive body, a canvas of deep blues and mottled grays, was covered in layers of barnacles and sea life that had latched on over many long, solitary years. Today, however, something unusual was happening. A lone, determined man, known along the coastal villages as Elias, had set his mind on a quest that defied common sense. He would clean this ancient leviathan. Elias was not your ordinary beachcomber or fisherman. With a lean frame hardened by years of working in the rugged seaside and a heart emboldened by an unyielding spirit of adventure, he had dedicated his life to understanding the secret language of the sea. His fascination with marine life began in childhood when he would sit by the tide pools and watch tiny creatures scuttle about. Now, with every sunrise, he sought out new ways to connect with the creatures of the deep. And nothing excited him more than the challenge of cleaning a giant barnacle-covered whale, a task that had only been attempted by a few brave souls before him. The plan was meticulous. Elias had spent weeks researching the migratory patterns of the whales and had tracked this particular giant to its favorite feeding grounds. He had prepared his gear: long-handled scrapers made of polished brass, buckets of warm salt water infused with a special blend of oils meant to soften the tough shells of barnacles, and sturdy ropes to ensure he could stay attached to the whale while he worked. He also carried an assortment of tools: small, precise brushes, a chisel for stubborn patches, and even a harness designed for close-up work on such a massive creature. As the whale surfaced near a secluded cove, its massive tail sending shimmering sprays of water into the air, Elias launched his small boat from the rocky shore. The vessel, a sturdy but nimble craft, bobbed on the gentle waves as he approached the behemoth. The whale's dark, soulful eyes regarded him as though it were aware of his presence. For a long moment, the two regarded each other in silence, an unspoken acknowledgement passing between man and creature, a recognition of vulnerability, courage, and mutual respect. Elias leapt from his boat onto a specially designed platform attached to the whale's side. The platform, ingeniously crafted from recycled materials and reinforced with durable marine-grade fabric, swung gently with the whale's slow, deliberate movements. As the massive creature began to shift its body, positioning itself with surprising care, Elias marveled at the whale's instinctive understanding of its own needs. It twisted and turned, nudging itself so that Elias had the best possible angle to begin his work on a dense patch of barnacles along its flank. The cleaning began with deliberate precision. Elias slid into position, gripping his brass scraper tightly. The barnacles, dark and stubborn against the whale's skin, clung tenaciously as if they were part of the creature's natural armor. But Elias's resolve was unyielding. He started at one edge, carefully working the scraper along the contours of the whale's massive body. With slow, methodical strokes, he chipped away at the crust of life that had built up over the years. The scraping produced a chorus of metallic whispers that harmonized with the soft rhythmic sounds of the whale's breathing and the distant crashing of waves. Every movement was a calculated risk. The whale, seemingly aware of the unusual ritual taking place upon its skin, would periodically adjust its position, rolling gently in the water. Each shift was both a blessing and a challenge. At times, its massive body would arch in a graceful curve, exposing a new section of barnacle coverage. At other moments, the whale would submerge partially, sending Elias into a brief dance with the waves. But the creature was cooperative. Its deep eyes were showing a struggle for survival. It was as if the whale recognized Elias's noble purpose. As the hours wore on, Elias moved along the whale's side like an artist restoring a masterpiece. He paused frequently, dipping his tools in the warm saltwater solution to soften stubborn barnacles before returning to work. With each scrape, the barnacles loosened, some falling away to join the drifting detritus of the sea. Elias would sometimes pause to marvel at the intricate ecosystem that had developed on the whale's back. A miniature reef teeming with life. A miniature reef teeming with life. Tiny fish darted around, taking shelter among the barnacles, while delicate sea anemones swayed with the currents. The process, though, was not without its perils. Midway through his work, a sudden shift in the tide sent a powerful wave surging through the cove. The whale, caught in the midst of its routine adjustment, arched its body so dramatically that the platform swung dangerously close to the churning water. Elias's heart pounded in his chest as he clung to the makeshift deck. But drawing upon a reservoir of calm determination, he steadied himself and recalibrated his position. Some areas were heavily infested with barnacles that had formed a near impenetrable layer, while others were dotted with pockets of softer, more pliable growths that yielded easily to his scrapers. His hands, calloused and weathered from years of labor, moved with the confidence of someone intimately acquainted with the rhythms of the ocean. The cleaning took on a meditative quality. Elias worked in a steady rhythm, the sound of his tools against the whale's skin merging with the natural symphony of the sea. Each scrape and brush was a small act of kindness, a way to restore balance in the underwater world. The barnacles, once an inescapable part of the whale's existence, were gradually removed, revealing patches of smooth, glistening skin beneath. With each layer removed, the whale's strength seemed to return, its movements becoming more fluid and graceful. In moments of respite, Elias would speak softly to the whale, addressing it as an old friend. "There, old giant," he murmured, his voice blending with the sound of the surf. "We're almost there. Just a little more and you'll be free to swim as you were meant to." The whale responded in its own subtle way, a gentle sway, a flick of its massive tail, or even a soft, resonant song that vibrated through the water. These exchanges, though unspoken, forged a bond of trust and mutual understanding between man and beast. The dorsal fin was like a rocky outcrop in the middle of a turbulent sea. Barnacles clung to it in dense clusters, their hardened exteriors a stark contrast to the smooth organic curves of the whale's skin. Elias's hands moved with the precision of a sculptor, chiseling away at the stubborn formations. It was a painstaking process, but one that yielded immediate rewards. As each barnacle fell away, the whale's natural patterns and markings were gradually revealed. A mosaic of scars healed over time, each telling a story of survival in the vast, unpredictable ocean. By the time the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the water, Elias had worked tirelessly over nearly the entire surface of the whale. The transformation was astounding. Where once there had been a heavy, burdened shell of barnacles, now there were broad, smooth patches of skin glistening in the fading light. The whale, in its quiet majesty, moved with renewed vigor, its graceful arcs and powerful sweeps through the water a testament to the restoration of its natural state. As twilight settled over the ocean, Elias prepared to leave. With careful reverence, he climbed back onto the floating platform that had served as a stage for the day's extraordinary work. The whale lingered near the shore, its massive form silhouetted against the vibrant colors of the setting sun. A living monument to resilience, rebirth, and the unexpected bonds that can form between humans and nature. In that quiet, awe-inspiring moment, the ocean seemed to whisper its gratitude. The whale's gentle songs echoed through the deep, and Elias, with hands weathered but spirit unbowed, smiled to himself. He knew that in the endless dance of life and nature, there would always be moments of challenge, moments of unexpected beauty, and that sometimes it took a brave heart to make all the difference. As night fell and the first stars appeared in the sky, Elias rowed back to shore with a deep sense of fulfillment. He had faced the unpredictable might of the ocean, engaged with one of its grandest creatures, and emerged not only with a story of triumph, but with a renewed commitment to protecting and honoring the wild spirit of the sea.